everybody, this is Francesco Abbruzzino with another rogue rant, and today I'm gonna rant about gun control. Really? Is it me, or am I just crazy because I get so annoyed by politicians, growing government, and Americans who have little respect or love for liberty and our Constitution? When law is used to protect criminals and render victims defenseless, true law has been destroyed, has it not? Isn't this what Obama is striving to do with tougher gun laws? With every act of horrendous gun violence, you will have radicals opposed to law-abiding citizens and the right to keep and bear arms. They just love slithering to the assault of our Second Amendment freedoms. They use tragedy to boost support for their agenda to take away the ability of lawful Americans such as myself to protect themselves and their families. This is not good, folks. The opposition to gun ownership realizes that it would be a human impossibility to ban not only knives, but chisels, screwdrivers, ice packs, machetes, and all other implements capable of killing a human being. Yet, for some crazy reason, in some form of a trance, they claim they can control gun violence by removing the law-abiding citizens' right to bear arms. They believe they can disarm the bad guys by taking firearms away from all of us. Oh my gosh, what are they thinking? I must visit the fantasy land sometime. It just sounds like such a wonderful place, doesn't it? Now, those in opposition to private ownership have used the same recipe of smoke and mirrors, misinformation, deception, propaganda, and a huge amount of misconception and misinterpretation to try and destroy the intent of the Second Amendment. I'm tired of the anti-gun politicians' holy grail in the form of a more power with no real responsibility for the damage they do to average citizens who respectfully and safely own and use firearms. I am here to tell you that the firearms are used for many different things, such as protection, substance living, and recreation. Obama's threat of executive privilege to implement new gun control laws will interfere with these uses and, not to say the least, our constitutional rights. Americans need to protect their right to keep and bear arms from this tyrannical dictator that calls himself Barack Obama. Guns are the form of protection, and many people can vouch that guns have saved their lives in dangerous situations. So, we can conclude that guns are used for protection and subsistence living. But that aside, there is still a Second Amendment that specifically states that it is the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And that right cannot be taken away, folks. Be anyone. Be the federal government. Nowhere in the Constitution is the federal government given the right to limit the individual's right to own firearms. It is the most certainly not listed under the powers of the federal government. Most certainly not listed there. Now, or anywhere in the Constitution for that matter, right? Certainly, some can argue that gun control could make the country a safer place to live. Some might even be able to sleep better at night with the knowledge that their neighbor next door does not have a weapon tucked cleanly underneath their pillow. Who knows? Perhaps gun control could possibly reduce gun violence. Who knows? Still, Americans should not have their right and to bear arms taken away from them. Our right as Americans to keep and bear arms should be protected. Not only does the Second Amendment state that our rights shall not be infringed, but many Americans rely on guns for food on their table. And importantly, people rely on guns for protection. So, the next time you hear about putting gun control into action, think about the people like Susie Q down the street, who had a man trying to break into her house and who probably wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the fact that she had a gun tucked under her pillow. To me, this seems like another case of the art of politics. They go looking for trouble, finding whether it exists or not, diagnosing it incorrectly, and then applying the wrong remedy. This has been Francesco Abbruzzino with another rogue rant.